Welcome to From Photos to Signed Documents, how teams automate field to office workflows in Salesforce. Just a quick agenda. We're going to start with introductions. Mark and I will explain our roles and our jobs and a little bit about what our companies do. We're going to go through the kind of problems that we solve. Today, our demo is going to be focusing on real estate. Then we're going to go through a solution overview. What kind of challenges do you face in property management and real estate? Then we're going to do a demo where we're going to sort of walk through a use case of a field agent in the field and how that record comes back into Salesforce and those images get turned into a flyer with Documill. Then we'll go through just some other use cases that are common that use pretty much the same kind of workflow, and then get some Q&A from everyone. We will be sending a recording after the event, and we will also be getting you guys a copy of the slides. I know that's always the first question everybody hits. So my name is Amanda Byrne. I'm a partner advocate based in North Carolina in the US, which is sort of halfway between DC and Atlanta, for SharinPix. And I've been in the Salesforce sector since 2011 and been through being the customer. I became an implementation as a customer, then went into consulting, and then I got into customer success and partner advocacy. So now I am working with SharinPix. So I'll hand it off to Mark so he can introduce himself.
Thank you very much, Amanda. So as you can see from the screen in front of you, my name's Mark McGinn. I'm one of the account managers here at Documill. I've been within the organization for close to 3 years now. And primarily my remit is ensuring that our existing customers really maximize the usage of Documill's technologies, but also work with SIs just to make sure that they know who Documill is, what exactly we do, and how we can potentially work together to solve some really kind of complex challenges within the space. I'll also provide a little bit of an introduction into Documill itself. So Amanda, if you'd like to go to the next slide, please. You may not have heard of Documill before. You may have heard of Documill before. The way that I like to see us is a little bit of a hidden gem within the Salesforce ecosystem. And the reason I say that is we've actually been within the App Exchange for quite some time, almost 14 years, launching back in 2012. Now, from the 3 years that I've spent within the company, I've really noticed a couple of common trends. The first is we have a very, very strong commitment towards information security. And this is shown by our ISO 27001 certificate, as well as our TISAC certifications. And that gives you a little hint into the type of companies that we work with. I would also say that customer success is key to everything that we do. And this is really exemplified by our 5-star reviews within the App Exchange. And it's really complemented by our ability to deliver successfully on the most complex document-related projects. A shout out goes out to the fact that we are an Ascendex portfolio company. Ascendex is the collection of 5 different ISVs under one umbrella, really designed to help Salesforce customers maximize the value that they derive from Salesforce, working across various use cases and various technologies. And you can probably tell that collaboration is in our DNA, and our relationships with ISVs extend beyond our portfolio to include powerful technologies, namely SharinPix. And I'll hand over to Amanda to provide an intro into SharinPix itself.
So SharinPix has been operating since almost 10 years now. Our CEO saw a real need to unblock the use of images in Salesforce. And so SharinPix is designed to treat images as first-class data and not just attachments or like an afterthought. So we have traditionally been the number one Salesforce solution for offline field service and image management. We have customers around the world. 400 customers, and probably 80% of our base is in the US. But we also have people internal that are also from around the world. So definitely got a good base there. And most of our use cases have come from inspections. So places where you need structured answers and visual proof, and you need to collect those offline. And that has been a great niche for us. So let's move on to challenges. So these are some of the challenges that we see in this situation where you've got agents in the field and you need that information in the office. The use case we're focusing on today is real estate, but we'll go through how you can spread that out to other use cases as well. I have a lot of points here as far as the kind of challenges that you face when you're dealing with this field to office issues. Uh, Basically, they all focus on fragmentation because the tools just don't talk to each other between the field and the office. And they're inherent to field office work, right? So inspections happen offline. It's easier to capture the images and the notes with the phones and not with computers. But there's consequences to that, to trying to get it back into the office, because it delays the communication. Extra cleanup and necessary steps are required in order to share the images, brand them, or make them compliant. And so what we found as a whole rule is that the problems aren't really office specific or field specific, it's the handoff between the two. So what we're going to go through today is a use case of how you would use SharinPix and Documill together in that kind of environment. So I will start that demo. So this is what you might see in Salesforce Mobile. This listing photo checklist is a button component that you have in Lightning, and you drag it to the record that you need it to be on and then access that from Salesforce Mobile. So in this particular demo, it's me out on site with a real estate agent, and we want to get some images out in the field that we can bring back to the office virtually right away and get a flyer out really quick about that property. So if we click, okay. So we go from to a living room. We get pictures from the living room. That was our checklist. So you're getting a guidance as far as adding what images you need to take while you're out at the site. And in this case, we're just taking pictures of the exterior and then the different rooms of the house. Now, this is our earlier, the checklist is one of the earlier things that we brought into the app, but we do now have a forms capability that really opens up what you can collect out in the field. And so now we have uploaded those pictures, and I am going to, oops, this is not what I was looking for. There we go. I'm going to hand it back over to Mark so he can show what happens after I've uploaded those pictures and let him know back in the office that we're ready to create that flyer.
Perfect. Thanks very much. So I'll share my screen, and please let me know if you can see the opportunity on Salesforce. My computer is just taking a little while, so just give me 1 second. So now you should be able to see the opportunity within Salesforce. So just to share a little bit of maybe an anecdote from my kind of personal life. A couple of years ago, I was looking to buy my first flat in Helsinki, and one of the things that I noticed is that speed was key. This is primarily from real estate agents, so we want to kind of highlight why and how we can do this. So as Amanda showed, we've taken the pictures and we can see these within the album. Now, in this instance, I really want to get this brochure to one of my main kind of customers, which manages a variety of renting properties within the area. Mr. Henrik Larsson. Now, I know from experience working with Henrik that he likes very kind of open living rooms, so we can see this here. And within the document, I want to make sure that this is the first thing that he sees from a selling perspective. So what I can do is just orientate the living room picture over to the left-hand side, and then we're good to go. Essentially, what we'll do is pull the various images that you can see here into a brochure to be sent directly from Salesforce to Mr. Larson. Now, the way that we do that is simply by pressing the generate button here for our property brochure. And it's important to note that with our technologies, these can be launched from any standard or custom object within Salesforce. So I'll click on generate, and we begin the document generation process. So this is where we're pulling in the relevant contact details for the customer, as well as the details around this specific house. And what we can see actually is that based on the selection that I've made within the album in Salesforce, we've neatly organized these pictures as we would want to display them to Mr. Larson. Now, I also know that Mr. Larson is keen on providing gardens to the families that he rents his house to. So we can add in complementary details here as well. So a lovely apple tree in the yard. So from a user experience, there isn't a need for me to jump between different tools in order to edit documents. I can do that directly within the browser without actually needing to leave Salesforce. And then we can email this over directly to our customer. Because we like to make things as easy for salespeople as possible, we are pulling in our customer's name as well as some predefined information within this template. And I can add complimentary details here as well. So it was a pleasure showing you around the house in Sacramento today. Would you like to put in an early offer? And then we can send this over to our customer. We'll save the brochure within Salesforce underneath files. And simultaneously, if I jump into Mr. Larson's inbox, we'll see that very neatly formatted email, as well as the finalized brochure with the edits that I've made in real time in his inbox. And then, of course, from a sales perspective, Henrik can respond and say, yes, I'd love to put an offer in, and we can move that deal forward. So, in summary, that's shown how easy it is for an agent to take pictures out in the field, get that information back into Salesforce, use those pictures within a document, and send that to the customer. So at this point, I'll hand back over to Amanda, and she can talk us through some of the real estate, real world use cases.
So that was just one example, but it carries across a lot of different operations, not just in real estate, but in property management, asset management, and again, any time you need to collect data in the field and visual information in the field, and then get it back to the office. So property and asset management, the advantage there is that you're tracking over time, and you document those issues. You're not debating those issues anymore. You already have the documentation for it. With marketing and leasing, that's pretty much what we just saw. And the benefit there is that it's standardization without delay. The sync happens pretty instantly. Mark can pick up and make the modifications right there in the office. And having that level of professionalism is just going to reflect well on the company that is issuing everything. In the development area, if you're talking about construction, it timestamps the images, so you're giving the owners and investors a clear record of their progress. They can look at the property management record, and they can see what is happening and when. For compliance and insurance, there's less dispute because you're backed by time-stamped visuals. And with tenant onboarding, there's a clear visual record of the property at transition points. So we also see SharinPix used a lot with fleet management because you get pictures of before and after, and that's all. I guess that's not really that relevant. Oh, uh, but having those that transition between when a rental car goes out and when it comes back in, so same concept as the tenant onboarding. Ready for the next?
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear about the fleet management case as well, and I think that really underpins the fact that this combination of solutions really transcends different industries. That could be from real estate, as what we've talked through today, easily being field service as well, and of course, as you alluded to there, Amanda, actually on the automotive industry as well. So, in terms of what we do and the components that we provide and the final solution that we offer, one thing that I would say is really important is this ability to capture and manage images directly in Salesforce. I know from personal experience when I've been out and about, taking pictures, these are spread across different devices. I have some on phones that no longer work. I have them on laptops. So, really having that one source of truth or one a repository for everything to be stored, especially for larger teams, is key. And this coincides with the ability to easily generate um, property brochures, contracts, reports using Salesforce data. So if we pull these together, what we actually have is that streamlined workflow and consolidated data, which is really important. Naturally, compliance is key to part of this process. So we're thinking about controlling templates and version, and this is for consistent documents. And when I say compliance, this really takes on two different forms. This could be from a legal perspective, ensuring that everything is timestamped, as Amanda alluded to, but it could also be internal compliance and governance. Naturally, marketing teams have their own standards for how they would like documents to be sent out that follow brand guidelines, as an example. So, really addressing internal and external stakeholders. Um, Lastly, I'm not going to go through all of these, but what I think is very important, and this is again a little bit of a personal anecdote, is this ability to standardize photo quality and enforce brand consistency. And the reason that I say that is as recent as 2 weeks ago, I sent across an image. This is personally to an institution, and actually, I'd copied and pasted the image from somewhere else. And when they received it, it was blurry. So they ended up coming back to me, asking me for another copy of that image. So very time consuming. So I've witnessed firsthand how important it is to have that standardized photo quality. And yeah, there's a lot of various solutions that we provide, but I think those are the key ones that stand out to myself.
I think a key takeaway from the table is just that because you've built all of that workflow structure in the beginning, that the whole process is on a roll as soon as you start taking the pictures in the field. So why would you want to implement a joint solution? So it's faster, it's safer, it's scalable, it's easier to package and sell. So to our bullet points, it reduces your development time. It's out of the box, it's faster, and it has less risk. Uh, as far as the field to office visual documentation, you've got reliable partners and it's easily repeatable. So once you get used to this is how the Documill SharinPix setup works, you have these high value consulting packages that are reliable. And then the last point is just we are both enterprise grade. So we have known records of being reliable in large environments. So it's just a very strong foundation to lean on.
Perfect. The last thing that I'll add there, it's like an invisible bullet point, but I think it is important, is that a joint solution is important when you have good partners to work with, and like the relationship that we've had with sharing pics and and with the other partners that we've collaborated with on these types of projects. It's just really good and really kind of pleasant to work with the likes of Amanda and Will. And this feeds into customer testimonials as well. Naturally, we're enterprise grade, and we would encourage anyone who's within the chat, within the session today, to give us a try. So, from a Documill perspective, please have a look at the App Exchange. I would recommend having a look at Documill Generate and Automate, and yeah, just testing out the solution. If you do need any assistance or support, I'm happy to help. But also the customer references and reviews that have been left there make for very, very interesting and enjoyable reading.
And we also have strong reviews on the App Exchange. And this really is your first place to go to really start exploring the app. SharinPix has invested the time. We have a really robust test drive and also a trial org that you can request and have for 14 days that's already pre-configured and built out. So by all means, take advantage of those resources because they were designed for consultants and customers to get a real look at what SharinPix is capable of. I will warn you that the test drive does not support the mobile app experience, but there are QR codes in there that you can use your phone and immediately get the mobile app experience on your phone. SharinPix works. We have the App Exchange app, but then we have a mobile app that the Salesforce app talks back and forth with. So by all means, we invite you to visit our App Exchange listing.
Perfect. And the easiest way that you can do that is with the QR codes there. But as we have a couple of minutes left of the session, I would like to open up the floor to any questions that may have come to mind during the last 26 minutes or so.
No questions.
No questions yet. That's typically a good sign. It means that we've addressed the major points. Um, so, Amanda, I'm going to just ask you a quick question. What's the funnest thing about working at SharinPix?
Well, I love the people that we work with. I love the personal engagement level that we have. I love that we're working very directly and we're investing a lot of time to make sure that we get people what they need to know to get on board fast because it's not. It can be a simple app out of the box, but it also can be very robust, right? So, and that requires additional configuration. And so we focus a lot on the engagement when people need to do more things. And what do you find with Documill that is your favorite aspect of how it works?
With Documill, the favorite thing has been every day is a school day. I'll put it that way. I learn something new in this job almost every single day, and that is normally related to Salesforce functionality or something that Documill has developed or potentially could develop, um, given like the right customer. So yeah, I would say that. I would say the fact that every single day I learn something technical makes me very happy. I would also say working with the customers that we work with as well. Yeah, it's a very enjoyable experience overall. But it seems like there are no questions yet. If you do have any questions in the future, please reach out to myself. You can contact me via LinkedIn. Please reach out to Amanda as well for everything related to SharinPix. And just as a final word, I'd like to say thank you, everyone who has attended the session today. And if you're watching this in the future, thank you for watching the recording. So yeah, I think at this point we can end the session here. Have a good rest of the morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are.
Thank you so much for coming.